Hi there. So my name's Nicola. I'm one of the founding directors of an organisation called Flourish Together. We support women to lead the change they see needed in communities, and we run all sorts of programmes and initiatives and events and consultancy supports. I'm going to hand over to our colleague Shelley, who's our Programme Development Support Coordinator, to say a bit more about our upcoming Time to Grow programme that we hope people are going to have some interest in. So over to you, Shelley.
Thanks, Nicola. Hello, my name's Shelley, and as Nicola says, I'm the Flourish's Programme Development and Support Coordinator, and I'll be working on this programme. So I'm just here today to tell you a little bit about what's on offer, to give you a bit more information and see if it's the sort of thing you'd like to get involved with. So for over 5 years, Flourish has supported women across the Northwest to develop projects and businesses, social ventures, really to make the changes that they see needed in the communities around them. To date, we've supported over 700 change makers through training, development, support, networking opportunities, learning opportunities, and so forth. We also have a pay it forward model in which we raise cash so that we can actually provide a bit of seed funding for the ventures that we think have got real potential. So we're launching a programme in January 2022. If I can just, interesting, I can't seem to change my slide.
Sometimes you have to click on it to get it to move.
Yeah, there we go. So yeah, we're looking forward to sort of starting our next Time to Grow programme. And this is the 4th time that we've run Time to Grow, and the 2nd time we'll have run it in Wigan. And this programme is really an intensive programme to support women to make a difference in the communities around them and consider their next chapter through enterprise development. Now, this is open to women in Wigan and surrounding areas and across Greater Manchester. And it's whether they really, whatever stage of a venture they're at, so they might be interested in testing a completely brand new idea, or they might be interested in developing something that they're already working on, or they might have a big business venture that they want to get off the ground. And it's also a means for them to explore possibilities, so career pathways, ways of making an income in the charity, community business and social enterprise sector. Now, as I say, this is the 2nd time that we run this in Wigan. The last time we ran it in Wigan was last year, and we supported 25 women who had ideas, and from those 17 social enterprises evolved. And today we're going to give you a bit of an outline of the next Wigan programme, which will be, as I say, Time to Grow's the 4th time that we've run Time to Grow. And today we're going to be joined by Vicky from Belton Wigan. Hi, Vicky. And Anna from Remade Mosley, who's going to be telling us about their experiences on the programme previously. So I'll bring them in just a little bit. Now, the programme will be delivered in partnership with the Meyrick Street Centre, which is a social enterprise and a community centre hub based in Wigan. And we'll be working with them to deliver the full programme. And now we've secured funding from the WEA, which is an adult education body, and they're all about developing adult employability skills and training opportunities as well. And we've got, as well as that, some support from NatWest, and I'll talk about how this opens up opportunities for pretty much any woman who would like to apply to get involved. Now, over the next sort of 2 to 3 months, we're going to be looking for a group of women, 25 to 30 women, and they might be coming from a range of different backgrounds. So they might be already developing or scaling a social enterprise or community organisation, or working on a local project that needs some really focused and intensive time and effort to help them realise their ambitions and make space to work out what it is that they'd like to achieve. Alternatively, they might be volunteering their socks off, but looking for support in terms of trying to generate an income. So often we find that people are working incredibly hard, but might not actually be able to generate a living from what they're doing. So we can work with people to work out routes to turning the work that they're doing into an income. It might be that their situation has changed recently. So they may have taken a career break, whether for health reasons or for family reasons, but they're starting to think about what they'd like to do next, and really looking for something that's flexible, that could fit in with their existing lifestyle and their other commitments, whether it's family commitments, caring commitments, and looking for something with real purpose. Or it might be that they're struggling to find the right employment shape to fit in with their lives, or in the current climate, obviously, coming out of a pandemic, lots of things have been thrown up into the air and things have changed radically. And some of the work opportunities that were available beforehand might not be available. So thinking about what might be next, given a change in employment situation. Now, this programme is particularly open to women who might be unemployed or underemployed. And this is because of the way that we're funded. So the funding from the WA supports unemployed or underemployed people who are looking to increase their employability or find routes into work, whether it's self-employment or finding an organisation to work for, or developing something in partnership with an existing enterprise. But we're also fortunate enough to have secured some funding from NatWest, which means that we can open up this programme to people who might be already running an early stage enterprise themselves, or might be employed by an organisation but interested in creating some space to think about what they want to do next. So whatever your employment situation, I'd say that have a chat with us, because this programme is you're probably eligible for this programme. So what can you expect to get out of Time to Grow? Well, there's absolutely a huge amount of benefits, and we'd like to hear from Vicky and Anna in a moment to hear their specific experiences about what they found was really useful about the programme. But what you can expect is to meet other inspiring women and like-minded people, people who you chat to and really get you motivated and wanting to do something different. We have a fully funded, the whole programme is free, and it includes personal development, leadership and enterprise training. And so you can really make some space to reflect on what your next step should be and how best to use your time. So also on offer, we've got group sessions and one-to-one coaching support. So we're conscious that everyone's situations are different, their venture ideas are different. And so we have some tailored support where you can sit with one of our experienced mentors and talk about the specific challenges and opportunities that you're looking at. And we can offer steps to take these forward. There's access to connections in your local area and also across the wider area of Greater Manchester. There's a raft of Flourish events and activities going on, which I'll come on to in a moment, which you can tap into. And then towards the end of the programme, there is access to support through a mentorathon. And this is a mixture of kind of coaching support through a sounding board of other women who have a good deal of experience and business ventures behind them, who might be able to offer you insight into a particular challenge that you're working on. And there'll also be some access to seed funding, small pockets of seed funding to support some of your ideas. And then finally, you can expect to make a difference in Wigan and the surrounding areas across Greater Manchester by connecting with other like-minded people, by tapping into their networks, sharing your networks. You'll find that you'll be able to make a much greater impact in whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. Now, in terms of timings, this is the timeline, and it kicks off in the new year, which is a great idea when lots of us are thinking about times to change, things that we want to do, what we'd like to improve, both in our personal lives and our professional lives. So this kicks off in, I think it's the 2nd or 3rd week of January, and we start off at Meyrick Street Centre in Wigan with an immersion and learning journey with a couple of days, and as well as taking some real time to reflect on what it is that means a lot to you and what it is that you'd like to work on. We'll also be introducing you to some women-led social enterprises in and around Wigan. And there's an opportunity to actually visit these enterprises, find out a bit about how they got up and running, and to see whether there's any nugget of inspiration there that you can take forward with your ideas. Then there'll be a short break and we'll come back in February. Now, the core of the training programme will be delivered virtually, which will make it easy for people to access and fit in around their lives. But we do find that the in-person events are incredibly valuable in terms of connecting with other people, getting ideas, feeling invigorated and motivated as well. So we've got a blend of both. And it's kind of bookended. At the beginning, we've got a number of in-person events, and at the end, we also have some as well. And then the middle chunk is very much delivered virtually, so much more widely available and really easy to fit into your schedule. In February, we start to look at specific skills, really tap into your personal values to understand what it is that you'd like to get out of your time and your work. And then we start looking at some specific problem-solving tools and techniques that you can apply to many situations in life, whether it's your family life or your professional life. Then we'll get back together in March for a couple of days, looking at some really useful practical skills. So resourcing, so how to access resources, how to put together a budget, how to practically develop your idea. Often people who are interested in pioneering a venture of their own have lots of ideas, and this is just a way of really funneling your thoughts into practical steps for action so that you can move on to the next stage. And then in 30th to 30th, that says June, but that should clearly be March, otherwise that would be a massive break. So apologies for that. 30th to the 31st of March, we'll be looking at how to measure our impact. So as well as generating an income and trying to make a venture financially sustainable, we'll be thinking about its impact and what it is that makes a difference, makes it make a difference, and how you might be able to measure that. And then, as I touched on earlier, we'll be looking at impact and access to support through our Mentorathon, which is always an incredibly popular event and an enormous amount of great fun. Now, throughout 2022, there will be coaching offered by part of the Flourish team and some of our wider mentor experts as well. And then we also offer group sessions where you have peer support from other people in your cohort. And these are really valuable because it's people who have got real experience of startup, pre-startup. They'll be at a similar stage of development as you and offer not just moral support, but some really practical, useful support in terms of answering some of the questions that you might be struggling with on your own. And then, throughout 2022 and beyond, there's additional workshops through the wider Flourish events calendar, which I'll touch on in just a moment. And then, so that's the body of the program, and those are the elements of the program that we'd encourage you to attend every single part that you possibly can. But we understand that people have different life commitments, and occasionally you might not be able to attend part of the program, which is absolutely fine. But there's also some additional kind of bolt-on areas of training and connecting, which is possible. The first of which will be careers development and self-branding workshops led by Vicky at Belton Wigan, who I will introduce now. Hi, Vicky. And Vicky, I wonder if first of all, if you might tell us a little bit about these workshops, and then I'll come back to you to hear about your experiences on the programme, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think one area that people kind of struggle with when they've got a really good idea for a business is time to actually market the business and time to get themselves out there kind of on the networking scene and creating marketing materials. So I've run training courses in the past on things like using Canva and social media to promote what you do. And in my sort of sessions, that's what we'll go through, and we'll go through the importance of sort of branding and creating a look for your business so that it's recognizable, and basically really break down using social media, because a lot of people that I come across, they might use social media or they might be on it, but they're not entirely sure what and when to post and how to get the best out of the time using social media. So we'll be doing some of that, and also some personal branding as well, and kind of getting your face out there and getting your story ready to tell people, so that you can just meet people, tell them what you do, give them something to take away, and then make these connections that will help your business run smoothly.
Fantastic, thank you. And these are skills and practical tools and platforms like Canva, for example, that you can use for any venture. Whatever it is you're doing, whether it's an organisation that you run yourself, or a project idea that you're trying to get off the ground, all these marketing and, like you say, self-branding skills are completely relevant, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. Like even my 5-year-old uses Canva now to do her homework on, and I've done my like 40th party invites on there and everything. So it's kind of these digital skills will take you through whatever you decide to do in the future. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm the same with my kids, and I've had to set them up separate accounts because they kept getting on my work accounts. So it's one of those things, once you go on Canva, you won't look back.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. And then as well as Vicky's workshops, we've got a section of, again, bolt-on optional creative marketing and digital skills workshops, some of which you'll be running, Vicky. So we're looking at marketing, media and PR from, and again, another Wigan-based social enterprise, Yellow Jigsaw. And again, they've just got some really practical ideas about how you can get messages out there in a quick and simple way without it being too time consuming. Looking at Canva and WordPress with Vicky, and selling online. So again, products and services, whatever it is that you do, if you're looking to generate an income, selling online does need to be a channel that you could consider. It could, like I say, it can be a physical product, or it can be a service that you offer, but where to start. And these extra workshops to really help you get going with those, start to get a presence so that you can really move your idea forward. And this is just some of the wider resources that the Flourish Network offers. We have a large number of podcasts now which are available for free. So we will be circulating these slides afterwards, and there'll be the clickable link on these, so you can just tap into those. But if you search up Flourish Social Enterprise, you can find Supporting Women in Social Enterprise podcast. You'll be able to access all of these. And these are just so useful because you can tap into them in your own time. When you're doing something else, it can fit in around your life, and you can also look for the specific resource that you need at a time when you need it. And these range from everything from problem solving to what legal structure your organisation might want to be, how to measure your impact, specific career pathways. And again, if you aren't able to make every single session in the programme, it might be that there's one of these that you can tap into to get some of the extra learning. And we have a number of wider events, and if we can encourage you, if you're interested, to follow us on Eventbrite. So again, just search up Flourish CIC on Eventbrite and you'll see all the events that we've got coming up. So for example, this week on Friday, any of you who can get to Stockport, we have a career pathways in holistic health, wellbeing and beauty. So if that's an area that you're interested in, or that there's some crossover with an idea you're already working on, then please do join and get yourself along to that. We've got some inspirational speakers. We've got some taster sessions and some mini workshops that you can get involved with as well. And also we'll be showcasing some of our other programs which are overlap with this Time to Grow program, really. It's specifically around health, wellbeing and beauty. And then on Friday next week, we have our Greater Manchester Social Economy Social. And this is something that we run on a pretty much monthly basis. And it's an opportunity to meet people in person, other people working on community organisations or social enterprises or businesses with purpose. It's an opportunity to network with people across the city, but also get some inspiration from people who are up and running things and see what other ventures are already happening. So in terms of questions, thoughts and comments, we're about to come to the end of the recording, but if I can encourage anyone who does have any questions to drop us a line. You'll all have my email address already. For those of you who are watching this on catch up, it's support@flourishtogether.org.uk. Michaela, have I got that right? I've just realised.
Support@flourishtogether.org.uk. And I think if we hear from perhaps Vicky and Anna,
absolutely,
then we'll take some questions off record, so people feel they can speak openly, and that's what they want.
Yeah, absolutely. Apologies, ladies. Right, if I can come to Anna first, because I know you have to scoot off in a bit. Anna, would you just like to tell us a little bit about your experience on the Time to Grow programme?
Yeah, certainly. So I run an art and craft for wellbeing group in Mosley, which is based in Tameside, and we do a range of art and craft activities, and we do so as sort of sustainably as possible, hence the recreate. And we actually started out as participants of a funded group at an art centre, local art centre called The Vale, and we took part in a lot of a range of activities, sort of batiking, willow weaving, and because that was funded and that funding ended, we saw the benefit, we sort of experienced that value from doing those workshops, and we didn't want it to end. So we decided to create our own autonomous group and fund ourselves. And that was quite a big shift to go from sort of passive participant to then sort of actively running a community group. So there was a big knowledge gap, there was a big confidence gap. And that's when a friend recommended Time to Grow. And I probably wouldn't have signed up if I hadn't had that nudge, because it felt like it wasn't for people like me. It felt a little bit out of my depth, but it wasn't. It was very entry level. It was great. And for me, it really demystified some huge blocks to sort of progressing with making this community group work. Just like the legal structure, what do we choose? How do we do it? What's the impact on funding, financial reporting? Nicola actually sent a sort of template through that I just had to drop the community group's name in, and that was just, it was sorted, just something that is sort of preventing that first step. And just funding and all these sort of seemingly scary things became doable and possible, and I understood the sort of volunteering community sector, which I had no previous experience with, and listening to everyone else who finding their own way and having their own struggles and seeing what they were doing was also really, well, it's the best bit really, I suppose. What everyone else, it's where you get a bit of a bit of vibe, a bit of energy. It was brilliant. And unfortunately I lost my part-time job in April due to COVID, so I started freelancing as a copywriter and content creator, and I've been able to actually do some work with Flourish doing that. So that connection has actually led to not only me setting up my community group properly, and also finding a funding stream where I could pay myself through the community group, which also felt a bit uncomfortable at first. So it was sort of, the course gave me permission to do that. It felt that you had to do it out of the goodness of your own heart, but you can get paid, and it sort of got me over myself a bit with that, because it felt a bit uncomfortable. So yeah, from where I was a couple of years ago, it completely changed. So yeah, see where it takes you.
So what would be any advice you'd have for somebody thinking about whether to apply for this programme?
Absolutely go for it, because I felt it was not for me. It was something for people who were a bit further on in the journey, but it's not at all. You don't even have to have started or thought about a social venture. It is just, if you're looking to move into a more sort of values-based working or something more aligned with your interests, go and see and find out about it. It's very entry level. It explains everything really clearly. So yeah, and what it's a journey. You might find it's not for you, but that's great. You've found out. Definitely just go for it. Yeah.
Thanks, Anna. And then Vicky, yeah, the same question to you. We'd love to hear about your experience on the Time to Grow programme.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it was kind of similar to Anna in a way, but I was volunteering with my local groups, and I've been doing it since my little one was born, so 10 years. And I became kind of the marketing expert for volunteer groups around here. So if anybody wanted a poster doing, or a website setting up, or a social media platform started, then I'd volunteer my time here in Shevington in Wigan, and help get that going. And my background is in journalism, and also I had a spell teaching primary as well for about 4 years. And the catalyst for me getting involved with Flourish was really the pandemic. I was furloughed from my job as a magazine editor, and I'd always had this seed of an idea, which is why I love the time to grow and the plant growing, because the seed of my idea was to start making money from helping community groups with the marketing. I didn't really know much about social enterprises when I first set out, but I saw like the brilliant work that some of the existing social enterprises in Wigan and Greater Manchester were doing. And I just caught sight of a Twitter post from Flourish about, you know, for women, if you're thinking of starting a social enterprise, or you'd like some advice and some free funded help, then get in touch. So it was about, I think, April or May, maybe last year, when I set up my website. I was furloughed at home with the kids. I had all the time in the world to spend on growing my business. So it just took off from there, really. And thanks to Flourish, all the questions that I had when I was setting up a business were answered. And if I had any extra questions, I could just get in touch with somebody from Flourish. We created like a WhatsApp group, so the fellow time to growers were on the same WhatsApp, and we've asked each other questions on there. We've been to numerous Zoom training sessions together, which has just been amazing. We've been learning everything from like keeping yourself healthy and mindful business, you know, being mindful of your own sort of emotions and what you drive for doing things, all the way to like business structures and applying for funding. So it's been a holistic experience, really. Yeah, so I've made some really good contacts through Flourish as well, and now my marketing business gives back. It's got the social value element is that I put some money aside from the fees that I charge people to create a belting fund, and then I offer for this free training for people who work for not-for-profits or have started their own business. And I also offer a discount for not-for-profits. So I've got both types of clients. I've got profit-making clients and not-for-profit clients as well. But the not-for-profits just get a 20% discount. So it's like Anna said, you want to help people and you want to do things for them and give your time up, but you can only do that a certain amount before it becomes unsustainable. But if you can get paid for doing what you love and helping people, then happy days. That's the goal.
Absolutely. And it's fantastic to hear from both of you and how you've made the leap from doing some stuff you love, but it possibly not fitting around your lives, to actually getting somewhere where you're doing what you love, but also getting paid for it. Because Anna, it's interesting you make that comment about feeling uncomfortable about that, but ultimately, if you don't get paid for it, it doesn't become as sustainable. So if it has purpose and if it has meaning, if you can also generate some kind of income from it, it will have more sustainability and then make greater change, which is ultimately what a lot of us want to do. So thank you both for that. That was really interesting, really useful. And then if I could just round up this part of the call just by repeating really that this really is open to anyone who's interested. So please get in touch, and we are really happy to answer your questions in person or via email. And it's open to, as we say, women who are either unemployed or unemployed, employed part-time, volunteering, employed full-time, and whatever stage, as long as, we'd say that, it's probably not for organisations who've been up and running for, 5 or 10 years or so. But if you're either pre-startup, seed of an idea, like Vicky was, or if you've got a project up and running and it's been going for a little time, this absolutely could be open for you, and we'd love to be able to support you. So thank you for your time, and that's the end of this part of the recording. Thank you.